So, I've got Selassie and Chris right here with me, and tonight we are discussing the third person in a relationship. And so I will start it off. Who is, or what do we consider as that third person in a relationship?
Okay, as you rightly said in your introduction, two is a couple, three is a crowd.
Yes.
So anybody who seems to be having some form of effect, if I should put it that way, on a relationship is that third person. It could be positive, it could be negative. So I don't want us to. I think sometimes as soon as you raise third person,
Yes.
the first thing that springs to mind is the fact that the person has negative influence. But it's not always the case.
Really, we will definitely be coming down to that.
So I would want to be very neutral tonight and say that anybody who has some form of influence on your relationship or your marriage or your courtship can be defined as that third person.
Wow. So, Lassie, what is your idea of a third person?
I just want to add career, and there are things also. So career can also be a third person, where the career take precedence over your relationship, and you are not managing both your career and your relationship well. Yes, your career is important. Yes, you are busy at work. But how do you manage it? How so that your spouse does not feel left out?
That is actually quite true. So things can also be, and actually things like phone, even those who are into IT and they are constantly on their computers or laptop. Could be, a third person in a relationship, isn't it?
Even gambling.
Oh, yes.
It's a very broad
thing.
An
addictive habit can be
gambling, pornography. All these things could come in as third parties.
Well, I am already excited because I think that it's, it's actually quite a broad topic, and I was saying to Chris earlier on that it's funny because as soon as you say a third person, automatically people are thinking that you're cheating or it's got to do with someone like that. That is inclusive.
It is inclusive.
I think we've touched a bit on teaching in the past. So this time let's keep it
we're gonna keep it to the actual third person.
That mother-in-laws, but somebody genuinely who you think is your buddy, your friend, or something.
Exactly.
That is, you think is helping you in your relationship. Is the help,
but not necessarily helping, because I've got things like it could be your mother or your mother-in-law, your father or your father-in-law, your siblings, and all of those things. It could even be your secretary, because you're always telling her everything that's going on in your house and all of those things, and they feel that they now have an input in your relationship. And even pastors.
Yes, the pastor.
Yeah, it can be anybody, it can be anything. It depends on your interests. Yeah.
Okay, so we are kind of establishing what to consider as a third person in a relationship. That is interesting. So what do you do if you feel like a relationship is in a triangle?
I think first and foremost, if there should be a triangle in a relationship, from the Christian perspective, I would say it has to be you, your spouse, and God.
Okay.
So more often than not, when you attend weddings and stuff, the advice is to have that kind of triangle: you, your spouse, and your God. So that would be the triangle. But then if there is a triangle, then you need to assess a triangle. I mean, a triangle other than what I have just mentioned. You, yourself, and your God. If you have a triangle other than that, then you need to look at what triangle that is. Who is that, or what is that third person? And is that thing or that person having a positive influence or a negative influence? Is it becoming a problem to their relationship or not?
Yeah.
Because some people, to them, is not an issue. There are some relationships that if there is a third party, person, item, whatever, it might not be so much of an issue to them. But to others, it could be a very big issue. It could be a big deal. So if you are happy for that third party to be there, then praise the Lord.
But Chris, who is happy?
That's what I'm saying.
It has to be depend on the relationship.
That's right.
Because if you know that you're a busy person and because of that your spouse has taken a hobby to fill up that time, you don't come complaining. So it depends.
Yeah, it depends. That's what I'm saying. It depends. Most of the time, it's the person at the on the other side of the carpet.
So the victim, so to speak.
Yeah, is the one who would determine whether this is a problem or not.
Yeah, because one party tends to be happy.
Yeah.
And they don't even see anything wrong with that.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
The problem will be when your attention is being drawn to it, and you, the person engaging in whatever it is, you, the person involved in relating to that third party, because mind you, it might not be both of you relating to that third party.
No,
yes.
It's normally. No.
Normally, it might be one person. Sometimes you could find both couples relating to the third party, and in that situation, more often than not, they are happy. It works. Everybody is cool about it. But if it's such that one person is more attached to the third party and giving all their time and attention to that third party, that is when it can become a problem.
Let me give you an example, for instance, or a situation, and I want to hear your views on this. Now, there's this person, his wife, somehow has given the spare key to her sister. So she feels, so his sister-in-law has a spare key to their house. Ideally, some people do that for just in case we lock ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is the agreement. But in this situation, it is very different because the sister-in-law can just turn up at their house anytime, unannounced. Right? And when she comes, she opens the door, somehow, somewhat, she has taken a little bit of a disliking to the sister's husband. So sometimes she'll just walk in and not even say hello. Sometimes she'll say hello when she wants. When she walks in as well, the sister doesn't see anything.
Is she younger or older?
She is older.
The one coming in all the time is older.
Is older.
Okay.
And when she comes in, apparently, she can go and recently, apparently, he was saying that she just came in, went into the fridge, grabbed some sauces that were in the fridge. I think she was going to cook some barbecue or something, but her sister had a sauce that she wanted. Just walked into the fridge, grabbed the sauces, went back out.
That's so disrespectful.
So she comes in and out as if she lives with them.
No, that's not right.
So that is a third person. Now, he has complained a few times. However, the wife doesn't seem to see anything wrong. She's like,
sister.
But yeah, she is my sister. We've been very close right from the beginning. We've been close before you came into the relationship.
Yeah.
So you've got to accept it because this is how our relationship is. What are your thoughts on something like that?
For me, what sort of relationship do you want to have? Because the Bible says that we live and we cleave. So when you were getting married, there has to be leaving of your family, including leaving
your sister,
modifying the relationship between your sister. And this particular lady, if the scenario is painted that it is your husband's sister who is doing that, will you be happy? Because you are fine with it till you are on the receiving end.
Yeah.
One is disrespectful, and even for you to come to the house not to say hello, no matter the problem you have with my husband, you should be courteous that when you come, a simple greeting and a simple permission to do whatever you are coming to do, and using somebody's key to enter the house under no circumstance is it, unless it's an emergency, I would say that you have to do that, but you can't do that, and it is not right. And if this lady really wants her marriage, she had to put her foot down and tell her sister just as it is, because at the end of the day, your husband is not happy.
If I was a man, I'll even change the locks to the house. Seriously, because I mean, this is like Selassie Riley said, this is gross disrespect. You know, because you are even evading their privacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You understand? You coming in anytime. Does she even look? Do they have children? Does she come to look after the children?
No, they've got children, but she doesn't come to do. Sometimes I think she would come. She would go out with the children.
Yeah.
And that day that she came for the sauces, that was what was happening. She was coming to collect the children. I think she was having a little party or something for her child, but she was coming to pick their children. Obviously, her sister's children.
To the party.
So, yes. No. And then she went into the fridge, grabbed some
comes
sauces.
In unannounced, opens the door, opens the fridge, grabs...
Obviously, the sister knew that she would be coming because she was coming to get the children.
But what is wrong with you knocking? Because once there are people in the house, the respect, the decency.
That's right.
Common human decency is that I come to your house, I knock, I wait for you to open the door. Or you are not in the house, I text you that I'll be coming to your house to pick A, B, C, D. Is he okay? Yes, it's okay.
Even if it's just the sister's house, I mean, you should still give her some...
And that, you see, for me, what beats my mind is the fact that the sister, who happens to be the wife, can't seem to see anything wrong with it,
because it's she has that comfort that I have that relationship with my sister, so she doesn't see anything. But if you change the scenario that it's your husband's sister doing that to you, how will you feel?
She wouldn't like it.
She wouldn't like it. So it's the same way.
Most of the time, the people who tend to be doing these things, they don't see anything wrong with it.
It's a strange one, but yeah, you're right. Someone sent a message. Well, they don't want their name to be mentioned, so I will give you a name and I will call you Kofi. So he is saying that, okay, folks spend a lot of time away from home and their partners. We have to accept that we should always have other interests, but the key thing is to ensure the time you spend together is quality time. Nothing can replace that. And then in the case of what I've just said, the story that I just told, he's saying that both women are disrespecting the man. Is it possible that the man hasn't been pulling his weight? Well, I think that
even that's not a justification.
Yeah, that's not a justification for your sister to just barge into the house and go like she pays the
because
mortgage.
For me, at the end of the day, how do you want your relationship? How are you building your relationship?
Yeah.
Even if he's not pulling the weight and you are bringing third party into disrespecting, would that encourage him or would that discourage him? Would that lead to the total growth of your marriage or what? What are you doing to your relationship?
Yeah, because he was saying something like, because when I put the topic there, he called and he was saying something to the point where he says, even sometimes when he says something to the wife won't take it. But when the sister says it,
then she'll
take it.
Yeah.
That's quite strange.
Yeah.
It's as if the woman the sister is a super in charge person of
because
this.
I believe that in a relationship, when there is a vacuum, in terms of emotional vacuum and everything, normally with women, we feel it with something, and this one is her sister. It could have been a work colleague or anything, but this one is her sister. Her sister gives her that comfort, that confidence that I can tell everything to my secret is safe, and then that is what has happened, that she trusts her sister so much. And maybe her sister has proven herself to be trustworthy, to be reliable than the husband. Yeah. And so these are some of the things that, even though it is wrong, you have to be careful when you are married or you are in a relationship so that you don't cleave towards that aspect of your relationship. Because yes, that person is a surety.
I think the thing is, both ladies got married late. And they grew together and they were close. They were doing things together. Yeah. They were going out together and stuff like that. But surely...
But that's when you have to sit up and say, I have a lot of grounds to cover because I'm married.
Yes.
How would that sister also feel if her younger sister was doing
that to her? Yes.
To her husband?
Yeah.
You see, for me, this is how I look at it. So long as the person you're with is beginning to complain about it, then you need to start looking into it and seeing to it that you do something about it.
I think, Chris, before they complain, we are on this show. This show is supposed to help relationship. Everybody should just pause and just ask themselves, if I have a good news or anything, who do I reach the phone to call?
Yeah, I think
even though I can't get to my spouse, do I leave a text message? Do I leave a voice note to say ABCD has happened before I call my girlfriend or before I call
my boyfriend
or anything?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I normally do it and I realize it and I quickly check myself, because at times you realize that when things happen in your life, who do you call first? Do you have your spouse so close to your heart that, oh, I've got this news and I'm going to tell him, or
you tell your family first
when I see him at home? But the joy of leaving a message for him to read that message, I think it's really important. It's a check that everybody should do, and you find out, and then you can just quickly, before they complain.
Yeah.
Well, after this break, we will come back discussing this in a little bit more, broader fashion, because I think that there's a lot to cover on this. We would be right back. Stay tuned.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart of the family ripped apart. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred or respect. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife and save a life. Quentin Slowly, supporting all family and young people.
What do you like for breakfast?
Well, it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm happy, I like a little bit of porridge with banana because I'm feeling healthy. If I'm in a...
Me, I like a bit of fruit. Nice apples, sliced apples.
I love a cinnamon and raisin bagel, some scrambled eggs, and a...
I say nice English breakfast.
Salad, fruit and oranges.
I like wholemeal bagel with a bit of cream cheese on it and some bacon and then some avocado. And on the side, I like to have
fried egg with bacon, with baked beans, toast.
I normally take my cocoa. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a typical Ghanaian, so I like my cocoa.
I'm not too sure. I normally don't eat breakfast.
It doesn't matter how you like your breakfast, or you may not like breakfast at all, but you will love the sound of your radio when the breakfast is Afropolitan. Watch out for the new ABN Radio Breakfast Show with Efuadum. ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station.
It's here, the African Gospel Music and Media Awards 2018, celebrating excellence. On the 2nd of June 2018, at East London Arts and Music Main Auditorium, 45 Maltings Close, Bromley by Bow, London, E3 3TA, from 6 p.m, featuring Joe Metal, Diana Hamilton, Isabella, Called Out Music, Shekinah, Dena Mwanga, Afri David, Angel Bernard, Judith Sefuma, Blessing Ali, and Reaper's Choir. For tickets and information, visit AfricanGospelMusicAwards.com or call 07906 932 670. The African Gospel Music and Media Awards 2018, celebrating excellence.
ABN Radio.
Welcome back to the BedTalk show with me, Adwoa Armah-Appiah. We are live on ABN Radio, London's premier Afropolitan station. And so tonight I have Chris Decker right here with me and Selassie Washington Kujo. Or is it Kujo Washington? Whatever. But I have Selassie right here with me as well. And we are talking about the third party or the third person in a relationship. And so, actually, Jocelyn sent a message and says, yes, Adwoa, third person is quite broad, like we actually said. And so she says, it is like a mother-in-law who has a voice in the marriage, a close friend who is always consulted for advice, or just, a paramour. So thank you so much for that. Do feel free to send me your messages on 0788747594. And for those who have my number, you could send it on there too. You could also give us a phone call on 0208 670 7300, 0208 670 7300. And if you've got some amazing contributions as well, please call us. You don't have to mention your name if you're not comfortable. You can mention any name, but call us and disguise your voice and just bring that story on. We would like to hear from you. So yes, talking about that third person, we were talking about this lady's sister and how she is disrespecting the home. What about, like Jocelyn just said, mothers-in-laws that have a voice in the relationship? How do you deal with that?
For me, if you have a mother-in-law, this is not the time to really be fighting and everything, because at the end of the day, it's their mother. But you cannot also say that I don't want you to have a relationship, I don't want you to speak to your mom. They will take their decisions, they will do whatever they have to do, but it is up to you to also do your bit. Doing your bit means that if it comes to a decision, your husband consults your mother-in-law and they do, and then he brings the decision to you, you will listen to it. You will listen to it and you also say your bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think we should do. And you know that this solution comes from your mother-in-law. It doesn't come from your husband. You don't go and you don't go shouting and saying that, and he went to your mom for the no, you don't say that. You always say, oh, really? Is that what you want us to do? I also think that if we do it A, B, C, D, you also put your case forward and allow him. He may make the wrong decision. It is a very difficult place to be, but I believe that arguing and shouting will not help. It will not help one bit. It will further draw your spouse closer to their mother or their father, whoever the influence is coming from.
That is a true one. But let's see. Okay, so Kofi has sent another message, and so today that is your name, okay, Kofi? So, and he says that leadership in this, in regards to the story that I gave not long ago, leadership in this relationship is key. She is definitely not listening to hubby, and it's highly likely she has been complaining about her husband to her sister. Actually, that will be true. That's the reason why she is now disrespecting the husband, right? And also, she says that, but hubby has also probably contributed to this, because he could latch the door, change the locks, etc. Which, yeah, that's true. But then, don't you think, even if he changes the lock, and the woman gives her sister another spare key, then you keep changing. So
that no, you don't have to change anymore. So then it means that you don't want your marriage.
Yeah, that means that you're game.
Because we have spoken about this. I have told you I'm not happy, and I've gone as far as to changing the locks, and now you're giving your sister and the new keys. Then it means that you're just trying to push this man out of this relationship. End of.
Yeah.
That is an interesting one, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's such a broad subject.
Yeah.
You know, because we've talked about the sibling, actually causing trouble in somebody's home.
Yeah.
We've just spoken about the mother as well, mother-in-laws and the influence. But Chris, how come, especially men, mother-in-laws have such impact on their sons? It's not funny.
It's not always sons. There are some women who are also very close to their mothers.
True.
And they tend to discuss almost everything that happens in their marital homes.
But that because for me, when my mom of blessed memory, I remember I was very close to my mom, but my mom never came into my marriage.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that was my positive bit, because she will not even encourage you to even say anything. The moment you're saying it, she already has a solution line up. Like, have you prayed? Have you done that? Have you done that? So it also depends on the mother in question, because you are trying to cut the umbilical cord between you and your daughter, and you are trying to that living. And when the Bible talk about living and cleaving, you are enabling that living and cleaving process. So both parties have a positive role to play to arrive at that destination of them becoming a union. But if you don't leave, you can't cleave. If you don't leave any other thing in your life, that intimacy, that cleaving, that oneness, that union will never happen completely.
It depends on the mother or that mother-in-law who is being fed with all the information. There are some mothers or mother-in-laws, when you speak to them, they will certainly react or overreact.
But you know, Chris, you cannot be telling somebody negative things and the person will not have an opinion.
The person would have an opinion, but then again, some of them would just tell you, oh, I know a mother-in-law, she will tell you, listen, I don't want to come into your marriage. After her daughter has said so much, she will say, listen, I don't want to come. Pray about it. Or even if she wants to advise, she will say, you know, your wife said this or your husband said this, and I think that I don't want to come into your marriage. But all I'll tell you is pray about it and try and do something about it, and that's it. But there are some mother-in-laws or mothers who would, in effect, come and tell you, this person said this and he said that, but I don't want you to do this, I don't want you to do that. And you know, it's as if they are in charge of that relationship.
You see, that is the reason why I say to people, and if you are out there listening, for crying out loud, do not take your marital problems to your family, to your mother, to your sisters, because you know what? When you have forgiven that person, your wife, your husband, your sisters, your family, your brothers, your mother, your father, they are still hurting for you.
Yeah, they will
and
still
so
hold on
they
to
still
it.
hold on to it. And then that becomes a problem. Also, like Selassie said, if you keep feeding them with that wrong information or that negative information about your spouse, naturally they're going to feed on that. They're going to hold on to that and feed on it. And then, you know,
but Adwoa, if like let's put a scenario, a newly married couple, and who has come for that singleness, surrounded by singleness, and she get married, and if you don't receive proper counseling in that scenario, and then you have a problem because you don't want to be telling your single friends the issue, you think that the best bet is your family because you trust them. So it's like people having the skills, people knowing what to do in situation, because you are hit so hard with an issue and you are so emotional, and before you realize, you've picked up the phone. But if you know what to do, you know that I can call my counselor, I can do this, I can do that, then you know how to deal with it. It's not knowing what to do at times. It's like the easy option is, oh, my mom gave birth to me, she wants my best interest, so she'll protect me. Then you start talking.
And what about the friends that we bring into our relationship? Again, I always say to people that don't allow your friends to prophesy into your marriage. Don't. Because they will be prophesying some negativity into your marriage.
No. Especially we women. It's like, that's what all men are.
Exactly.
That's what you know, and then that's how all men are, minus my spouse.
They're poisoning your mind so much. You know, don't bring your friends into your relationship. It's okay to tell them one or two things, but you've got to know the person that you're talking to. You've got to know the kind of friend. To be honest, some friends don't even want your best interest.
Yeah, but I think some women also talk too much.
But you know, women, we are processed to talk a lot.
Yeah, but so do you have to go giving them all the details of what's ever happening in your home? That's also another thing. Because,
I talked about a void.
Yeah, but you see, sometimes it's not just the void, but some women too, for some reason, when their husband has bought them a dress, he's bought them a car, but this, they will have to go and tell this person. And some people get jealous about these things.
Yeah.
That one, with time we learn, and then we stop doing it.
You get jealous about these things. It's as if I don't know whether it's a show.
Yeah, it's a show.
Is that you're so excited about it, you want somebody to share with. And then some women too, as soon as they are upset with their husband, the first thing they do is pick up a phone and they want to talk to somebody.
That was a check I was telling people to do.
Yeah.
To realize that, what do you do?
They just call and then they download. Oh, and even last time he did this, and the other time he did this, he did that, and you're going to bring all the stuff that your husband has done for the past 10 years. And then now so then, like Adwoa rightly said, your friend will be giving you, the person could be even giving you negative influence, giving you bad advice. Oh, why don't you also do this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
And then by the time you realize you are no more married to this person.
But that is why I think a while ago on this show, I talked about accountability partners. It's like,
What do you mean by accountability partner?
It's like, for me, if you're married and let's say if you're married here and you have a counselor, you went to church, you have a counselor. I believe that in a relationship, that would be accountability. A couple that both of you, in case of issues, I think you have to decide that if you have issue and I have to go to somebody, we'll go back to our counselor. Okay. Both of you decide beforehand so that you know that we have somebody who did our premarital counseling on this couple.
If the person doesn't live around anymore, then...
But what it involves, it changes. Because for me, when I came to this country, it's like God blessed me with a couple who adopted us early years of marriage, who helped us through those rough patches and everything. It helps because you realize that when this issue happens, you tell this person. You are accountable. You know that that person is constructive, will not give you...
So, in your case, you had a positive third party.
Yes.
You see?
But what I'm saying is that couples should talk about it. That
Adwoa, so it's not all negative.
What I'm saying,
there are some positive third parties.
Couples should discuss it and know that if you're going to tell something to somebody, if you're going to bring somebody into a relationship, who would that person be? For me, I think that it helps because in the heat of the moment, you don't know what to do and you tend to make bad decisions, bad choices. But if you make that plan, then you can ask your spouse, why didn't you go to Mr. So and so and talk about this issue instead of going to that your girlfriend? Because you've already planned. I think good planning in such situation also helps because especially in the UK that we have so much pressure and everything, things happen and we react in the wrong way. But I think that if we plan, we can react in a better way. And at times, we ladies, we just need to cool off. We don't really tell our friends to get advice, but at times we just need somewhere just to download it and just keep it there because at times reacting is really bad. So we just need somewhere to download.
You see, it's not so much about
and it's your spouse.
It's not so much about where you download it, but the third party thing is not a one-off thing, if I should put it that way. Because sometimes you realize that that person knows so much. The person could even write a book about your relationship. You understand?
Yes.
Or whatever thing that has become that third party is something that has been going on for a very long time.
You're right.
Yeah. And for me, if you have a friend who, you text, we're going to the market. I'm going to the market with my spouse. Then every like this person is sort of updated
on every single thing.
It becomes very worrying.
I think every so often some people might have a friend like that, but it's a friend that have their best interest. It's not one of those friends.
Sometimes to you, the person you relating to that friend, you think
they have your best interest.
It's not always so.
Yeah, it's not always so. You're right.
Especially look at this scenario. Especially maybe like a male friend or an ex-boyfriend, whom every time you say, and my husband and I were going here. My husband and I went to buy this. So what did you buy? We bought this car. No. Why did you say? And then you also come back.
You have to pick up.
You also come back, and then you come and tell your husband, no, why didn't we do? Why? And your husband might not even know
that you're talking to
somebody that is giving you some ideas, and now you've brought it into, and then it becomes a whole issue.
Yeah.
Okay, why when we were buying it the first time, you were there. Why didn't you say all of these things? This person will say, maybe it escaped me.
But this is the reason. Yeah, but this is the reason also why we need to be very careful and mindful. Just because your friend says this, that, it's not about your friend.
Yeah.
It's about your relationship.
It's about your relationship.
Yes.
So we need to be very careful what we're listening to, who we're listening to, and all of that.
Who you invite even into your conversation, into your life and everything.
You see, another angle to this is that, Adwoa, this person might not be directly influencing the relationship. But the fact that you are constantly in sync with this person, what automatically would happen is that you're going to lose close bonding with your spouse, and now you're going to divert a greater chunk of your attention to this person.
That's where this third person.
Right. Like Selassie was saying, maybe this guy is not saying anything. You're not going to visit the person. You're not hiding somewhere with the person. No, we're not talking about any of that.
Yeah.
But what you realize is that as soon as you wake up, you want to text this person good morning.
Yeah.
When you get a video which is funny, instead of sending it to your spouse and having a laugh about it, you send it to this person. And then you will be having a laugh with them.
That is when there is discipline.
So it's not about discipline. But
no, because let me say, some spouses are so unreceptive about certain things.
Yeah.
You have a funny thought, or you take a picture, or you're picking up the kids and you take a silly selfie and send it to them. They will not even acknowledge it. But what I'm saying is that you discipline yourself that this is my relationship. Whether he likes it, whether he appreciates it, I will still do it.
You see?
Yeah. But then again, Chris, that's why it brings me to this question. Why do people bring that third person in their relationship? Because talking about this thing, you get this video where ideally you should send it to your spouse. Because
who is supposed to be your best friend.
Yes. But then why am I not sending it to my spouse?
Yeah.
Why am I sending it to the third person?
Because that person is taking a greater chunk of your attention.
No. But why is the person taking a greater chance of my attention?
Because you have been feeding that person.
That person responds.
Why am I feeding that person? What is happening in my relationship?
Because, not just that. Sometimes, you see, let's not always look at it from the angle where something is happening in my relationship.
But a lot of the time,
what about something not happening?
Okay.
The things that are not happening.
Fine.
Yes, but a lot of the times it's
something not happening is because it's a two. You see, sometimes
that is why I said that.
Sometimes women think that it's only the men who should be gingering the relationship, but it's not so. We are in this together.
That is why I said.
Women always think, oh, you should be the one who's always romancing me, and I should. No,
sometimes it's not even just.
If the man doesn't romance you, the man doesn't come up with engaging options and fun stuff, you could also bring up stuff.
That is why I use the word that you have to be disciplined. That even though I know that I pick up the kids, we did this short video, or my son is playing, I did this little video, I'm sending it to my spouse. He will not acknowledge it, he will not say anything. But I discipline myself that.
Why is he not acknowledging? Why is he not saying? Because you have not built that friendship. Because if the friendship, it should not be
what I'm saying
only
is that
the man's fault.
Even if that friendship is lacking,
friendship is a two-way thing.
It is. You discipline yourself that I'm going to do the positive thing.
Yeah.
At whichever point in your relationship that you make that realization, you start doing something. It may not be accepted, but you keep on doing. That's why I use the word that you discipline yourself that overall, I keep watering that plant. I keep nurturing it. I keep pruning my relationship. Something good will definitely happen because you realize, oh, this woman have sent about 4 videos. What's happening?
Yeah.
You will watch it and smile or something, and later tell the son that, oh, I saw your video, you did very well. And then even though he has not said anything to you, you realize that he watched it. So those are the decisions that we have to take, that even though things are not well, I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm not saying that it's easy. It's very difficult, but you stick to it.
Adwoa, you see,
at the end of the day,
I don't always want to look at it from the angle where it's because things are not happening, things are not working.
Yeah.
Sometimes things are also not so nice because your attention is divided.
Okay.
Your attention is divided. When your attention becomes divided, listen, when you having cleaved so tight and you are looking at Kwame, you're looking at Yao, you are enjoying attention.
But
let me learn.
You are so much on that point. Do you think that a human being
want to learn.
wakes up?
No, let me finish. That's what I'm saying. It is not always the case where things are not working.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yes, fair enough. Sometimes I agree. There are times that things are not as nice and as rosy as the couple want it to be. Fair game. But there are times too when the man is trying, he's trying everything, but funny enough, this person is getting some side attention. And I know sometimes people like, I wouldn't use any gender before I get to I know sometimes people like attention. And so
are you referring to the female species?
I haven't mentioned anything. I haven't mentioned any specific gender. No, I wouldn't do that. I won't be gender biased yet. But people like attention.
Yeah.
And so because you're getting some funny attention from somewhere, some of the attention, their own commitment begins to divert towards that attention. Now, what will happen is that because you were giving that attention to two different people or two different things, it will not make you focused on what you're supposed to be cleaving to.
Sorry, I've just seen your message, Malaika. We are live on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube now. Apologies, I should have said this earlier on. And so just go on ABN Radio UK, put that on YouTube, and yes, you should see our beautiful faces, right? So thank you.
Yeah.
And so talking about that.
So as I was saying, so then it means that the person might not be totally glued or focused on whoever they are with, because that funny attention, and sometimes I use it cautiously. Sometimes some of these attentions are given because there are ulterior motives behind the attention. Sometimes.
Okay.
Because this person is giving you the attention because maybe they know one day you'll be swinging their way and they could be having a piece or a bit of you. It can happen. It does happen. We've seen that in our lifetime. People give these attentions because they still have some feelings or they have some feelings towards you. And so they would ultimately give out the attention willingly, freely for now. But in due course, they might want to go the extra mile.
Thing is it not true that women, if that's what you're referring to, women,
I just say that's what women seek coded language and coded. Let's decode it.
I think women seek attention when they are not getting attention from home. I believe that when they're getting attention from home,
that's what I'm saying.
They won't be seeking attention elsewhere.
This is why I'm saying that it's not always. Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that doesn't happen well.
Yes.
There are times when the attention is absent in the home.
Yes.
There are times when the attention is absent in the relationship.
Why has it arrived? Because you don't marry half-heartedly. You marry and you initially are committed to everything. But my question to you, Chris, is that how do you get to that place that you are enjoying attention elsewhere?
You see,
because you are trying to say that nothing caused it. There has to be a cause and
I'm not saying that is always the case.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That there are situations where the man is doing his best.
Yeah.
There are situations where the other spouse is doing their best.
I get that as well.
Yes,
right.
For me, from a woman's point of view, at times you need to engage to maintain your level of sanity.
But I get what Chris is trying to say as well, because sometimes, especially sometimes you might go into work and then maybe your manager, I beg your pardon, is some fine dude showing you a bit more attention than your spouse is. So sometimes if you're not careful and if you haven't got that strong willpower, or self-discipline, you might find yourself swaying towards that attention.
Exactly.
Because
that doesn't mean that attention. Take it for what it is.
Because not all husbands are very vocal. Not like we talk about love languages.
Right.
Not all husbands are able to express themselves. Sadly, some women might marry a husband that is not expressive, would never say, "Oh, sweetie, you look beautiful in what you are wearing." He would never say it. But as soon as you put on weight, he's quick to say it.
Exactly.
And sometimes women, actually, it makes it difficult because whereas you are not saying it, she goes into work and then this dude looks at her And by the time that she's put her laptop down, an email has come. Oh my gosh, you look beautiful today. You know, so it's all of those things that, you know.
For me, those things are compliments that you enjoy for the moment.
Well, we will just hang on right there. We're going to take the news on top of the hour. We would be right back. So stay tuned.
More news, more information. This is ABN News on the Hour.
From the Sky News Centre at 10, Theresa May and Donald Trump have discussed the possible impact US sanctions on Iran could have on UK companies trading there. The Prime Minister also told the President the UK and its European allies remain committed to the Iran nuclear deal. Extra panel members are going to take part in the inquiry into the Grenfell Tower disaster as the victims' relatives demanded. Theresa May had previously resisted calls for extra people to sit alongside Judge Sir Martin Moore-Bick. Shadow Justice Secretary Richard Bergen says it should never have taken this long.
When you think about what the people went through, they shouldn't have had to fight for or campaign for the kind of inquiry panel that they wanted. That's not right. They should have these things as of right.
2 Britons have been kidnapped in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The ranger who was with them in the Virunga National Park was killed in the attack. Teaching unions have criticised plans to give grammar schools in England £50 million, saying non-selective state schools need more money too. The government says it's creating more places and wants to give those from all backgrounds access to a world-class education. Educational consultant and teacher Martin Robinson says that while he supports grammar schools, the system needs to change.
What I find is problematic is how we select people to go there. And to me, we should be expanding grammar schools by having them in every town and abolishing the 11 plus and having them open to people to go there if they wish.
In sport, Derby have the advantage after the first leg of their championship playoff semi-final with Fulham. They secured a 1-0 home victory. Meanwhile, Livingston will have a shot at earning promotion to the Scottish Premiership after winning their playoff with Dundee United 4-3 on aggregate. And Carl Edmonds' impressive run at the Madrid Open tennis has come to an end. The British #1 was beaten in 3 sets by Canada's Denis Shapovalov in the quarterfinals. That's the latest. I'm Daisy Gray.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart ripped out of a family. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife. Save your life.
The Discourse on ABN Radio. Engaging our community with discerning conversation.
Join me, Esther Alade, on The Discourse, where we will be redefining perspectives with authentic analysis.
Join The Discourse from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on ABN Radio.
This Friday and every Friday on ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station. Tune in to the new ABN Breakfast Show from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The London City Show has evolved into an all-new breakfast show with sizzling slices of juicy newsy current affairs served with junior jumbo-sized convos on issues you should be aware of. What did I just say? The ABN Breakfast Show, the Afropolitan breakfast you can't afford to miss.
Aja guide me from my enemy. Yo, this is Shatta Wali and you're listening to ABN Radio. Mike.
Welcome back to the BedTalk show with me, Adwoa Armah-Appiah. We are live on ABN Radio, London's premier Afropolitan station. And yes, we are streaming live on YouTube. So if you want to watch us on there live, just go on the search button and put ABN Radio UK. And you will surely find us on there right now. And so, yes, I've got in the studio with me, Chris and Selassie, talking about the third person in a relationship. And whoa, what an interesting conversation it has been, right from computers to laptops to siblings to mother-in-laws and father-in-laws and all that jazz. Now, what about pastors? How do they influence relationships? Are they third people or third persons
definitely.
as well?
The church
in general.
The church in general, because I'm a Christian. I do serve at church and everything, but there has to be a balance. For me, the hierarchy is God, family, church. That is how I see it. Because I'm taking it as a woman. My first ministry is to my home, is to my family. So I have to, as much as I want to serve in church, I have to juggle it very well that I don't neglect the duties of my family, including my children and my husband. So that is how I would face it. And also, we have pastors who prophesy into our relationship and the rest. At the end of the day, those prophecies and those things they tell us, it has to lead to that place that it will bring peace in our homes. Because if those things are not bringing peace in our homes, then because our God is a God of peace. So why is it that you are telling me something that is not going to bring peace to my home?
This day and age, there's so many churches springing up. And so as a Christian, as an individual, I think that you should always check the church you go to. It has to be a strong Bible believing church. The other time I saw on WhatsApp a couple, I think they had been married for some time, and they were unable to bear a child, and then later they had a son, and I think they had come to share a testimony. To be honest with you, if you look at the face of the baby and that of the man of God, nobody will tell you that this child is
a pastor's child.
Definitely. I didn't have to have a DNA ice.
So the miracle
was
right
actually
from miraculous.
It was right from right from the loins of the pastor.
Wow.
So this could tell you that that this pastor must have had some form of influence on or served as a third party on that particular couple. And so pastors, yes, can have great influence. And it's amazing how some women have so much respect for the man of God, but have very little respect for their husbands.
Yes, that is so true.
much respect. The pastor says lie on the floor, they will lie on the floor, roll over, take off your clothes, they will happily do that. But let your husband say take off your clothes. You say, what do you mean? Your husband asking you to take off your clothes. You say, what do you mean? Why are you telling me to take? And it becomes an issue. So some pastors have so much influence on some relationships, and sometimes
it's a call coming through. I'm just going to pick it and we will continue. Hi, good evening. You are live on ABN Radio. This is the BedTalk show. Who am I talking to?
Hi, this is Kofi from East London.
Hi, Kofi. Thank you for calling. How are you doing this evening?
Not too bad.
Amazing. What have you got for us?
Yes, I think that your topic is very, 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 very important.
Thank you.
The importance of this, I cannot overemphasize.
Wow.
Because it's the cause of the breakup of several relationships, marriages, whatever, that I know of among African, Caribbean, Black people across the world that I know of. Unfortunately, from my point of view, as somebody said, if only women could learn not to talk too much.
Right.
Generally speaking, some men talk to third parties, but generally speaking.
Some men talk as well, right?
Yes, but generally speaking, from my experience, if only women could talk less.
Okay.
We wouldn't have all these issues. Not every woman talks about their relationship and all the kind of stuff to third parties, but generally speaking, from my experience, that has been the trend. And it is damaging lots of relationships, lots of marriages, lots of unions.
Wow.
Especially from my experience among African, Caribbean, Black. And it's about, unfortunately, from my point of view, from my experience, women wanting to feel,
Kofi, I think that women like to feel. I think it's three things. Women love to feel loved. They love to feel appreciated, and they love to feel respected by the person that they call their rock. So if they lack that, I think that's where the problem is. Once they start lacking that, and then they found that rock in somebody, they start talking to that somebody.
But that is where the issue is. As human beings, male, female, the first point is and I think this is where some women perhaps are not so clued up. There is no human being on this earth who will love you more than yourself.
Yeah.
Unless women understand that in the nicest possible way. It is a human being thing. This is why in the West, if you do psychology, they normally say that human beings naturally are selfish. There is no human being who will love you more than yourself. Be it your sister, your auntie, your mother, they're all human beings.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, from my experience, many women do not seem to grasp that. There are some men who also talk about their stuff to other people, but generally, from my experience, it's been the woman. This person has said this person. I mean, let me give you just a little. There's somebody who is in a relationship with somebody else, and the person, the male, the man knows that some part of his family are, let's say, a certain way. So basically, wisely, is shielding the female from the side from his family in terms of he doesn't want the woman to get hurt. Now, what this woman's actually done is this woman has gone behind a man's back, the spouse, the partner's back, gone onto Facebook and befriended the brother of the spouse. Now, the brother of the spouse is the one who, from the spouse's point of view, has done lots of things because the brother of the man already messed up the man's previous relationship.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
So now in this new relationship, he is protecting this new woman from the side of his family that he knows are kind of damaging. But like you're saying, because this woman wants to be liked by the man,
the brother.
Exactly. She's gone behind the spouse's back and has befriended on Facebook or whatever.
Wow.
And like you're saying, so you're right when you say that women like to be loved and all that kind of stuff. There's also one other important point, and as I said to some friends, from my experience, almost every woman that I have known, my mother included, my sisters included, always wants to be seen as the best option in everything. Be it marriage, be it raising of children, be it cooking, be it. That is how many women, from my experience, and I think my mother, my sisters, and my cousins, everyone, all the women that I know of, always want to be seen that way. So if you're a woman and believe that your friends or your mothers or your aunts are kind of wanting the best for you, I think we have to recheck things and look at things in a different perspective. Because from my experience, that is how the women I know are kind of made. They always want to be the best option in everything, be it cooking or conversation or marriage or fashion. That is how, from my experience, the women that I know, I think my mother, my sisters, my nieces, my cousins.
Is that not a good thing, though?
It is not a good thing in terms of the fact that if you are a female in a relationship and claim that such and such person is your friend and such and such person has your best interest at heart, that person doesn't necessarily have your best interest at heart. That person has their own best interest at heart. So sometimes there are women who trick other women into revealing secrets in their relationships, and they use that against them.
Oh, I get what you mean, yeah.
So she'll come and say, oh, I've had a terrible with this guy, what about you? And then she is not telling the truth, that she only wants to extract info from your relationship to use that against you. So I always tell my female friends, I say, the only person who loves you more than anybody is yourself.
It's yourself, yeah.
And women that from my experience, that I have met, beginning with my mother, always want to be seen as the best option in anything everything. And that would mean trampling the views and the opinions and even sometimes when you meet women and they pretend praising other women, oh, she's beautiful and all that kind of stuff. When the woman tells her that, she would have something else to say, which would be kind of a downer on that kind of stuff. So my advice to relationships, people in relationships and couples, from my perspective, if the females could just not talk too much about yourself to third parties, it would solve 80% of many
of our problems
I have seen in the African, Caribbean, and Black community.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Kofi. I think you've made Chris's day because Chris actually did mention that. So it's like you have completely endorsed his thoughts. Thank you so much for the call, and do feel free to give us a call again.
And I'm actually watching as well, so I can.
Oh, you are? So you can see us? Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. All right, thanks. Bye for now. Oh, so that is an interesting one. Chris, okay, Chris, you win. Kofi, thank you so much for that call. Every call means so much to us, and naturally brings a completely different dimension to what we're talking as well, because like I always say, we don't know it all. We try to, dissect the conversation as much as we can, but your views are important, your comments are important, your questions are important. So give us a call on 0208 6707300. I've got a comment here as well from the other Kofi as well, and so I'm going to read that. He says that I do not believe your spouse should necessarily be your best friend. It helps, but it's not a showstopper. He also says that we have different interests and it will take a while to get to that point of being best friends. A woman doesn't want to watch football. The man doesn't want to watch soaps. But there are other times the couple could connect. Meal times, prayer times, family times, etc. And during these times, both parties are solely focused on each other.
I don't totally agree with his statement.
You don't?
Nope, because I believe that you have to marry your best friend. Because, you see, when you meet somebody, you have all the butterflies in your tummy. Oh, I'm so crazy about you and all of that.
Yeah.
There are times when other things could set in. But if you're friends, very good friends, the friendship can actually sustain the relationship.
But Chris, people may not be married to their best friends.
They may not.
Yes. So, but in that case, what do? They
build it.
So what's what he said? Yes, we have different interests, but when it comes to building a relationship, when it comes to doing things together, that is when it's give and take. We do this week. We do something that interests you, and because I love you, we do it together. Next week we do things that I like. So it's a give and take. It's not always as much as I get to play football with my friends. So would I also go to the spa with my girlfriend?
Exactly.
So it's a give and take relationship.
Yeah, but you see, you do this
something that is not there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, he's saying that he doesn't believe in the fact that your spouse should be your best friend. But these things,
it has to be the aim, even if it's something you work on gradually.
But
it's not something that is forced.
You can only work on these things by engaging in each other's interest. So if I like football, Adwoa could be a football fan, and I could be an EastEnders fan. So because of trying to build
why should it always be soaps for women?
Well, in this case, I said I am the one.
Likes soaps.
I'm the one who likes the soaps, and Adwoa likes the football.
Yeah.
So when she wants to go to watch Arsenal, I would happily follow her because she loves Arsenal. And so, yeah, my friend is happy. I'm happy for her. I'm happy with her. You see? Then when I want to watch EastEnders, the same thing. We will sit together. So then now in both cases, you will be giving me the tips about football telling me who is what, which player, who is, you see. And then when we come to EastEnders, I could also be telling you the characters, who did what, and then you are all learning from each other. So then you will begin to develop interest in each other's interests.
Yeah.
That's how you build friendship.
Now also says, now thank you so much for your comment from US of A. Now also says that, I agree with Chris, because you need to try and be best friends. I think it's a good point. Yeah. However, it's not always the case. Every couple that can be best friends.
It's not always the case.
That is why we are discussing this.
Yes.
Because if you cannot be best friends, guess what? You resort to a third party.
Yes, and you drift apart.
Exactly. And this is why we are discussing this. So, you see, when the best, you were talking about, who do you see sometimes you see something funny and you want to talk to somebody about it. Who is that person you first think of? I'm watching a video and then something funny comes up, and then I want to share that funny scenario, or somebody has sent me a funny WhatsApp, and I want to send it to somebody so that we can have a laugh about it. Who comes to your mind?
Yeah, that is a difficult situation, isn't it? Especially if it's not your spouse.
Yeah, exactly. So then,
don't we all find ourselves doing that? But that is why, for me, it's a constant check. It's a constant discipline. It's a constant something that you have to do in your relationship. In this fast-moving technology age that we have our phones and we have our screens glued in our faces, it's something we have to make a cautious effort.
There are people who circulate things, but they will never send you one. They will never. So why? What's going on? Who do you send these things to? Who are you having that love? So, you see, you might not be the best of friends from the beginning, but in order for you to keep the relationship afloat, in order for you to keep it, to sustain it, you need to build that friendship.
Yeah.
And when there is strong friendship, the third party thing won't be so much of an issue, because if we are very good friends, we talk about just about anything and everything. Yeah, you don't even. I shouldn't even worry when you're talking to somebody. You could tell me, oh, today I spoke to Selassie, and Selassie said this, and she made me laugh. And you see, whatever Selassie has said to me, that because I'm a man in that relationship with a woman, and Selassie is my friend. Whatever she says to me, I find funny. When I come, I tell you, I spoke to Selassie today. Selassie said this, and then we can have a laugh about it.
Yeah.
So then my spouse, or my lady, or my person I'm courting or dating, will not so much see Selassie as that third person who is trying to have.
But for me, a third person comes when there is secrecy. Because let's say that you have a girlfriend. Have there been a situation that your girlfriend can come and together as a family you can have a chat or you can do something together? Can the families or can that friends come to your house and you do things, or is there a scenario that the one that you painted, does it happen that way? If it's not happening that way, then that is very serious, because we do have friends.
Yeah.
But
can that friend come
to your house?
Yes, of course.
Is that friend welcome? Can you mention it to your spouse?
That's right.
If there is that secrecy, and even then at times, then you have to be very careful. You are not having an affair. I'm not talking about an affair. Just really, really somebody you're close to, but you don't want your spouse to know. Why don't you want your spouse to know?
Because that's when then it means that there is an added intention, like Chris said. Now also again says that both parties must be willing to work towards this friendship. Love wanes and friendship is what keeps the couple together at that point, which is true. So Na and Chris are on the same level, and also Kofi did say that women need to learn not how to say everything or talk too much.
But that
to
is
their
why
friends.
I was talking about. You have to know how to handle situation in a relationship, in a perfect premarital counseling. All these things have to be talked about. As you know, when you're frustrated, what are your mannerisms? How do you deal with situations when you feel like talking? When you feel like punching the walls? When things get so much for you, what do you do? Because people don't know practically what to do in situations.
Yeah.
The next thing they do is just to pick up the phone, talk, and then you end up pouring out your soul to somebody.
So we'll need to find out what to do in situations like that. But for now, we are going to take a quick breather. We would be right back.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart of the family ripped apart. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred or respect. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife and save a life. Quentin Slowly, supporting all family and young people.
What do you like for breakfast?
Well, it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm happy, I like a little bit of porridge with banana because I'm feeling healthy. If I'm in a...
I like a bit of fruit. Nice apples, sliced apples.
I love
banana.
a cinnamon and raisin bagel, some scrambled eggs, and a...
I say nice English breakfast.
Salad, fruit and orange
I
juice.
like wholemeal bagel with a bit of cream cheese on it and some bacon and then some avocado. And on the side, I like to have
Fried egg with bacon, with baked beans, toast.
I normally take my cocoa. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a typical Ghanaian, so I like my cocoa.
I'm not too sure. I normally don't eat breakfast.
It doesn't matter how you like your breakfast, or you may not like breakfast at all, but you will love the sound of your radio when the breakfast is Afropolitan. Watch out for the new ABN Radio Breakfast Show with Efuadum. ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station.
It was a well-paying job, respectable, wearing a suit and tie every day. But I drank 24/7. Drank on the way to work, drank at work.
I never could come to terms with admitting that I had an alcohol problem or a pill problem.
I decided to get clean, and so I went to the Narconon program.
Not only did I handle my drug addiction, I completely knew how to live life.
Call Narconon today at 01435 512 460. 01435 512 460.
Welcome back to the BedTalk Show with me, Adwoa. We are live on ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan station. You could get us on the DAB app, tuning app, online at abnradiouk.com, and we are streaming live on YouTube as well. And so, yes, our topic for this evening is the third person in a relationship. And well, I think it's an interesting conversation, I would say, because it's broader than what I thought it would be. So I'm glad that we are doing this conversation. And like I said, if you'd like to add your voice to what we are discussing, please give us a call on 0208670730, 0208670730. Don't feel shy. And I said, you don't have to mention your name if you don't want to, but give us a call and let us hear what you've got to say. If you've experienced that, or you know someone who's experienced it as well, by all means, feel free to give us a call to share it, because we would like to hear about it. So a third person in a relationship. We've spoken about the mother-in-laws, we've spoken about the siblings, we've spoken about some friends that can come in.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, this one is directly to you. What about you, these men?
They are toys.
What toys?
Exactly. Like sometimes you are so into your computers that you don't even want to do anything. Or
how about that?
Yes.
So the toys, the video games, they can also become third parties in a relationship.
Yeah.
Before I landed, I remember when I used to read novels. I used to read a lot, and then I don't sleep.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, as I was saying, there are some men who like their video games. For some reason, I'm not really into video games. So I don't have that problem with.
But you're into
Xbox.
your phone. And
No,
your
not really. I
iPad.
mean, once in a while, yes, I'll look at my phone, but I mean, I can always put my phone aside. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about men in general.
Yes.
And we're saying that some gadgets can also be an influence, third party. So instead of like engaging, I know sometimes your spouse wants to have a chit chat, have a conversation, and then this person is glued playing a game. Oh, you hold on, and they can play this for hours. That can have some negative influence on your relationship. There are women who really like to talk, have nice, interesting conversations. And so as soon as you begin to play with these things for hours on end without talking to them, what is going to happen is that they are going to start talking to other people.
Yes.
And that is also going to bring a problem, because now when you are ready to talk or ready to touch, they would also be somewhere else talking to somebody else. And that could have serious consequences on the relationship.
So what you've said is actually an effect of that third party.
That's right.
Or third person in a relationship. Actually, what are some of the other effects that this can have on? But then once we go into, before we get into the effects, also, what about men or, sometimes men, pastors, bosses, what have you, who then use their secretaries as the third party?
So they're traveling. I'm going with my secretary.
Yes.
I have a lunch date somewhere. My secretary is going to be there. Whatever time we're talking and you're always on the phone talking to your secretary, that could also be a problem.
Yeah. And then you offload your problems onto your secretary.
The nature of your job is that you have your PA on call all the time. That's the nature of your job.
Yeah.
But that is when you have to have the discipline. You have to be careful that you balance it very well.
Yeah.
The nature of your job is that you are always with them. You're doing your work. You're working together. But what do you do if you are not working? Is it out of habit? Is it really always that you're working, or you are just calling them to talk? So you have to be a disciplined person.
That's
because
right.
if you love your wife, if you love your spouse, if you love your husband, you wouldn't do certain things. And if we're talking about gadgets, if you love your spouse, certain couples are disciplined. I know these couples, they don't take their phones to their bedroom.
It's just time for them to spend.
Yes, it's like something they have decided and they do it. So
I think there was a celebrity couple who also said they didn't do
these
that.
are some of the things we can introduce and say that, after this time, I'm not going to do A, B, C, D. Then your spouse know that you are really focusing on me. You've really made that decision to really do something for me. It makes them feel very special. Because if we want, yes, our jobs, everything will come in, but at what point do we say no? Hold on, wait.
So what about the situation also when maybe the person was there? Like we use the sibling, but then it could also be a friend. Like you've been friends with this person right from day one, before you got married, before your relationship came into play. How do you deal with that? Do you all of a sudden side?
No, for me, as soon as, you see, sometimes whoever is in that situation, because they are so used to that person being there, they don't realize what they are doing. But for me, as soon as the person you're with begins to talk about it, it's a pointer that, listen, this is beginning to have some form of influence or negative effect on my relationship. And so if you value that relationship, you should immediately begin to do something about it.
Yeah.
Begin to ask the person, so what would you want me to do that would make you more comfortable?
Yeah.
What steps can we both take together that will bring about changes that will make you happy, that will not make you be nagging and complaining about this particular incident?
But is it unreasonable to push or to ask them to push this person away because you don't feel comfortable?
Adwoa, in the perfect scenario you gave, you know that you used to do things a certain way before you got
married.
You got married, you had a partner. in your mind, you have to know that things cannot be the same. I cannot maintain that level of closeness with my friends, whatever I used to do, and still be able to maintain this relationship and still do things that will make my relationship grow. Because if yes, your friends and everything, they were there, but you are now married, things has to change. It has to change. You have to give your relationship, your marriage, a chance. I use the word living. There has to be an amount of living. That should be
your priority now.
It has to be your priority. Even once that relationship comes in and you realize that it's getting serious, it's something that you want, somebody that you want to spend your life with.
What if you feel that this person understands you more than your spouse?
So then go and get married to that person.
Thank you very much.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
go and
you
get
can't
married
eat
to that
your cake
person.
and have it. You can't come and frustrate somebody's child.
No, you can't.
No.
So then if you think that person is better, your sister, your brother, your mother, they are better than your spouse, then go and get married to that person. Because if you want to be with this person, you should be able to make certain adjustments.
It's not sacrifice.
Yes, relationship is all about compromises. Some compromises are very difficult to make.
They are, yeah.
But then if indeed you value that relationship and you want it to go far, then I'm sorry, you have to make certain compromises.
Okay, if you have only just joined us, this is the BedTalk Show. We are live on ABN Radio, London's premier Afropolitan station. I am Adwoa Armah-Appiah, and I have Chris and Selassie right here with me. So talking about the third person in a relationship. Now, would it be a good... Okay, yeah, go on.
If you don't leave, you don't give your relationship that chance to grow. Because all these things will choke the goodness out of your relationship. You are not even giving your relationship the chance to even see what will happen. If this is a new relationship, what are you even doing? So you still want to maintain all that you are doing and still bring somebody into it, and still you are still expecting it to work out. No, it doesn't work that way. So you have to give your relationship sacrifice to see how that relationship will go.
So in this case, if you realize that your spouse is very close to somebody who happens to be maybe the third person, would it be best to get close to that person to befriend that person? Is that,
I would say no.
You see, sometimes
if that will help, because sometimes you can tell that your friend and that person, they're quite close and all of that. Would it be better to draw close to that person?
But do you know that by the time we begin to talk about this person, in your heart of hearts, that person is not really going to be your friend. That's right. Because you can see that this person is, whatever the person is doing, you're beginning to get upset about it. So it will be quite awkward or quite fake for you to now...
But Chris, you can fake it to make it.
No. I don't like faking. For me, I find it difficult to fake things. I want to say it as it is, and I want to relate to you as how I want to be very. If I don't like you, I don't like you.
So you're not faking it with me?
No, not at all. If I don't like you, I don't like you. If I like you, then that is me. I don't know about other people.
But at times, you have to.
By the time this person's situation comes to play, then the person's presence might have caused a few, arguments or a few disagreements here and there. And so for you to now even take that step of wanting to go and befriend the person, it will become very difficult.
You may not really befriend the person. I think you just have to, there has to be a cordial. Let's say you meet in a party or in a scenario, you meet in a party. You just have to be civil.
Civil is fine. Oh, hello, how are you doing? That's fine.
Why can't your husband's so-called good friend or close friend be your friend?
Has your husband invited that person into the house for you to say no? Because what I'm saying is that if your spouse say, oh, I'm inviting this person over, are you going to say yes or no?
You see, another thing too is that you befriending this person is like you are approving of that third party thing.
That's stupidity.
That's how I see it. It's as if I am approving of that third party. Because listen, it should be between it should be us.
Yes.
But then
minus that third party.
That's right. And now you are, in a way, adding that person.
Chris, you remember at the beginning of the program, in fact, both you and Celeste did say that sometimes a third party could have a positive
Then
influence.
we wouldn't be having this discussion.
That's what I said. If you invite that person home, you invite that person home, you have a chat, and you realize that there is something good there.
Yeah.
As soon as we have a good third party in our midst, there wouldn't be any problems. There wouldn't be any good third parties. You would hardly find spouses arguing about unless then you are devoting too much attention, or because you see sometimes there could be a good third party. Now this person could be in the form of a mother-in-law, a pastor, a boss. And what will happen is that because you have so much respect for that person, there are times that you might do things with the person or take certain responsibilities of that person that could supersede family activities.
Which happens a lot as well, isn't it?
It does happen.
Especially when someone is close to the pastor. Let's say the pastor's armor bearer. Sometimes they neglect their family because every appointment that the pastor has, they tend to go with them. Forgetting that they've got a family to spend time with.
So maybe your wife's birthday, you have to be away with the pastor. And your wife will be like, so just for today, can't you stay? And you'll be like, but that's when also then you should understand that this is what your spouse has signed up to. That can be quite. There's a fine line. I'm telling you.
There's a fine line, but then
there are times
you're especially if it is not a paid job that is bringing income. If you're working to bring income to take care of the house, I can get it. Okay, yes, we are Christians.
But that you see, for armor bearership, there's a lot of blessing that come with it.
Yes, but at what point?
And sometimes,
if you neglect your home, by the time that blessing comes, you don't have that family to enjoy.
Fair enough, fair point.
Because in that situation, I believe that certain things, certain events in our lives, other people can step in for us.
Yeah,
you see,
because if
there has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance. There
has to be two people. Like my wife's birthday, our wedding anniversary. Certain things. It has to take priority because I believe that it is God, your family.
Your pastor has already given you his itinerary for the year. And
yes, you said that, pastor.
And there's one very important.
5th of June is my wife's birthday.
There's one very important crusade he wants to attend. He wants to attend with you, and now your wife's birthday.
When you have that itinerary, you had it in January. Pastor, 5th of June is my wife's birthday.
Yeah.
We want to do this.
And pastor, your pastor too has been invited to the US of A.
And he can go with someone else.
That's what I'm saying.
They've already bought a ticket in advance for you.
No. You can't buy the ticket without telling me.
He can go with someone else. Because I don't think when that happens,
that balance is necessary when it comes to church.
When that balance is really important. Don't you think that the balance, the pastor is also breaking your home?
Yeah.
Because as much as you're following him with a blessing,
did you know your spouse was an armor bearer? Were you happy for him to
then be single and serve in church? No.
Let's face it. You see.
The ministry is the family.
Look at it from another angle.
What about we got married before he became an armor bearer?
Fair enough, but look at it from one angle. When he first became an armor bearer, you were okay with it. You were all excited about it. Now, there are situations where some of these pastors even pass down cars to the armor. Allow me to finish. Hold your fire. There are times when some goodies come to the pastor. Maybe somebody brings a Mercedes-Benz ML. Pastor doesn't want it. I'm coming. That's just one example.
Yeah.
I don't. You see, I already have this. Come on, you my armor bearer, have it, and you give it to your wife, and she's all excited. At the time, all these goodies were coming. And plus other things, you were excited about it. But just that one scenario, you want to kick a fuss. Let's be fair here.
No. I'm talking about major events in your life.
But it's not like maybe I'm saying that it's not like every major event.
But sometimes it's not just the major events; it's the all the time events. almost every weekend
but pastors
event.
don't travel every time.
No, not traveling. Sometimes they are in London, but they still have to be somewhere.
But you should know that as a pastor to a church, they have a duty to their church first before they can do all the other things. So yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But it is not so busy.
It is.
It can be.
It can be. Sometimes Saturdays there are engagements.
Yeah.
There are weddings.
And
there are funerals.
You have to go with the pastor. But
all of those things.
It won't be. The pastor himself will wear out. It won't be week after week after week after week. I can say that. Yes, there are times when it might be inconveniencing to the armor bearer's family. Yes, but sometimes
just grim and bear.
Yeah, because this is it comes. Listen,
let me tell you, it's like you're developing your career. It's like you're developing your career. You sacrifice all that time for your career. By the time you finish, I don't know, you climb to that ladder that you want. Do you think that you have the sort of family, the sort of children? So who should be maintaining while you are there doing all those things? Your wife is there, or your spouse is there, whoever is doing it. But it has to. Your ministry is to the family. It is to the family. If you don't strike that balance very well, so that is when, if you look at certain churches, we have teenagers, after they've reached a certain age, they leave churches because of what they have seen. Because they are not happy.
So in the first instance, what I want to find out is that, was this spouse happy for their husband to become armor bearers?
That is just an example. But what I'm saying is that sometimes the church can take people away from their home. I mean, someone was telling me about how, someone they know in Ghana, for instance, leave their job, go to church on a Thursday morning from 7, it finishes around 3 in the afternoon. I mean, people are leaving and neglecting things. And when you get sacked from the job because you keep taking all that time off, we don't understand. Yeah. But you see, as much as we are looking for blessings, but that's not our conversation today. But we are talking about that third person and how sometimes church and, it's a good thing. We all Christians, we go to church. But then at what point do we bring that balance? But let me read somebody's comment. The person doesn't want their names to be mentioned. It says, some men complaining about friends. Some men use that as a tactic to push all your friends out and take control of you. Preach. I would be careful when it comes to men complaining about all your friends. So that's, but then again, I think it all depends.
This is what Selassie said. Are you bringing these friends into the relationship? Are they friends that you can actually invite them when your spouse is there?
Yeah.
Do you have secret meetings with these friends that your spouse doesn't know about? So if the answer to these questions are no, and your spouse is complaining, then you shouldn't say that men are pushing all your friends away, because there are times when you go to visit some of these people and you don't want your spouse to know about it. Why? There are conversations you have with this person that I know you can't talk about just about everything, but you talk about things and you can't even just share with your spouse.
Now, can these kind of friendship lead into some kind of emotional affairs?
Definitely.
And how do you differentiate between a genuine friendship and an emotional affair?
I mean, that is why I use that word. I said, are there friends that when let's say you're having a party, you can invite them to your house, they will meet your family. If there isn't that secrecy, then there is nothing to be worried about, because that emotional affair comes when you are emotionally invested.
Yeah.
And then you tend to you are not treading onto the side of jealousy.
Yeah.
When he's not paying you that attention, you are jealous and things like that. That is what I'll call emotional affair. Genuine friendship. This person is my friend. I don't have anything to hide. I can be on the phone. My spouse can be there. I'll be talking to Chris. There is nothing wrong with it. But do you have to take the phone and pretend to be hoovering so that you'll be able to have that conversation? For me, it's that element of secrecy.
Yeah. Adwoa, also, the question I want to ask here is that if you have a male friend who is making advances at you, would you call that friendship? That's the question to the ladies, because sometimes some ladies, you hardly find a woman coming. Yeah, maybe she could be giving hint. But there are some men who actually tell you, leave and come and be with me because you'll be happier with me. Would you?
For me, it depends on you. No, do you want it?
Would you call that friendship?
No, that's not friendship.
And then if you are in a relationship and somebody is doing that,
you have to. No.
And hold on, and then you keep going to see the person.
Yeah.
And your spouse questions that.
You have to respect me enough as my friend not to tell me that. If you say you are my friend, you have my best interest. You don't even have, for me, I find it so disrespectful for you to even tell me that. You can't be my friend.
I think that sometimes the person won't say it, but based on their mannerisms, the way they care for you,
but
the way they love you.
Even here, I'm saying whereas the man has openly said it to you a few times, and you keep going to see this person.
Then you don't. Then that means you are playing with fire.
Yeah.
And then when you are, your spouse questions you about it, you go, there's nothing for you to worry about.
But what if there's nothing for you to worry about?
It's because you want to eat your cake and have it. Because if you say you are my friend and you know that I am married, why do you have the nerve
and this person
to come and make the advances towards me?
No, what if the person is not making advances towards you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. The scenario I'm painting here is that this person has openly said to you several times he wants to be with you.
No, that one you cut them off because obviously the person is coming in between your relationship.
But then you have ladies who think they can handle it, and so they keep going to see this person.
So you are playing with fire.
And then when your spouse asks questions that you think that your spouse is trying to control you.
Yeah. Okay.
You get the point I'm saying. Yeah. I'm responding to the text message that came.
Okay, yeah.
When your spouse questions things like this.
But the text message that came, she's talking about men who are really
Hold on.
Who are coercive, who are controlling.
Exactly. But this is why we are looking at all angles. This is why we're saying that. This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying here is that are these friends just normal friends who you have just clean conversations and you don't hide it from? And you can actually bring your spouse into some of their conversations. You can actually meet up with you and your spouse together. And there's no problem. But whereas some of these guys are making advances, you go to see them secretly, your spouse doesn't
it's
know.
Not really,
and this guy,
not even the opposite sex, same sex too.
And then this guy has actually openly told you a few times he wants to be, but you are saying no, but you still keep going to see this person.
No, I think that's where you have to draw the line. I think when you know that the person is making advances, but then on the other side of the coin, if the person hasn't actually said anything to you, although when you are together, you can feel that there is that kind of attraction or chemistry building, but the person hasn't said anything. You haven't said anything. You've been friends for a while. You kind of like each other's company.
But that is when that self-discipline has to come in.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting attracted to this guy. So if I used to call him once a week or something, I have to change the dynamics of our relationship.
For me, even if you, the lady, you are not getting attracted to the person, the fact that this person is constantly making advances at you, the dynamics of your dynamics of your friendship has changed.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that the person hasn't even made advances.
Yes, but you can even see the mannerisms. For me, then the dynamics of your friendship has changed.
So you have to also change accordingly.
So then if your spouse questions this and you think that the person is being too much and so, I can handle it, so I'll keep going to see them, you are still giving this person attention, you're still calling the person, still being on the phone. For me, then you are telling me that you don't want the relationship.
Okay. Another question to that.
Yeah.
Talking about your spouse questioning it, your spouse question. What about, he's your friend.
Yeah.
You're good friends. There is nothing.
Absolutely
nothing. There is no feelings. There's nothing.
That's not a problem.
But your spouse is still questioning it.
This is what I'm saying, that can you bring...
certain spouses are insecure.
No.
Yes.
Apart from that, but can you bring this friendship into your relationship?
Sometimes you bring them home.
Some men just don't want men who ring around their women.
Yeah.
That is very acceptable. That's also there.
Mm-hmm.
So you should also know who you are with.
But so why can't he accept that?
But that is
that is your friend.
There is compromise.
That's right.
That's why there has to be compromise in every relationship.
So if your spouse is not comfortable, what do you do?
Sometimes he's got to understand that, you know what, this is my friend.
Yeah.
We're genuinely good friends.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing. I don't feel attracted to him.
So you are assuring your spouse
exactly.
that
and you know, he's got to be able to accept it, because you can't drive my friends away.
Not at all. Not at all.
You know, so that's
but then again, don't let that person be a third person. So there should be a balance. You're not going to be devoting a lot of time. You see, it becomes annoying. If he's there could be very genuine male friends, there could be very genuine female friends that you can talk to every now and again. You can see every now and again. The person you're with knows that person or knows of that person. Yeah. That's fine. But where you are constantly, we're going there, I'm going to see this person. I'm talking to this person. You're texting this person. You get a video, you send it to that person. You want to have a laugh, you call, you have a laugh. So then whereas this person's your activity with that third party is beginning to supersede the activities with the person you're with, then it becomes a big problem.
But that's why we always have to do that check to see. We have to, because we do things that we don't realize the effect that it's having on our relationship. And I would like to, what I want to say is that when you have friends, you have to determine the effect that your friends are having in your relationship, the extent to which you are bringing them. I mean, it's something that everybody should do. It's something that you should do, because you have this friend, you are calling the friend all the time. And then you realize during this, I've called this my friend today. Have I even bothered to call my spouse? Have I sent my spouse a message? If you're able to check that, then you change it. Because at times, by the time we wait for our spouses to complain, then things would have really gone bad already.
That is so true. I just want to read Doctor's message. Doctor is listening all the way from Ghana. Okay. And she says that, I think we're talking about the armor bearers and the pastor's wife thing. So she says that, I think being a pastor's wife requires anointing. I agree. Being in ministry requires a lot of sacrifice and understanding of the spouse. Sometimes like a doctor in specialties like gynae or nursing, which is true. It is actually true. But I think that it's all just about balancing. You know, and for me, that is where my problem is. It is that balancing, knowing when you've crossed that boundary, knowing when your family is actually suffering.
That's right.
Because of what is going on.
I think that in some churches, there's normally more than one armor bearer. So if armor bearer A cannot attend, armor bearer B, so then it takes away the burden. So it's not so much about the car and all of that, but sometimes.
Well, just want you to know that this show will be rebroadcast on Sunday night from 10 p.m. So you can catch this again on Sunday night from 10 p.m. You could also listen to our podcast on abnradiouk.com. abnradiouk.com. On that note, I think I just want to I wanted us to go into, what boundaries to put to avoid the third party syndrome and, what couples can do to strengthen their relationship. But, time is not on our side. So I'm going to read my sex tip for now, and then we will see where this time takes us. So today, I have got the backseat rendezvous. And so, so that's what I have called it, the backseat rendezvous. It's very simple though. So I say that this is perfect for couples who are bored of only having sex lying on the bed. So with this one, your man will be sitting on the edge of a chair or a sofa or the bed even, with his legs spread wide and his feet on the floor. Now, you then need to back up onto your man's crotch with your back to him and let him slowly slide his penis inside you while bending your knees to sit on him. He is going to find it extra hot if you bounce up and down on your man and combine it with circular movements too. And so for faster and more powerful penetration, he can put his hands on your hips and pull you down with each stroke, creating a rendezvous of your own. So have a wonderful, wonderful weekend for now. I hope that you enjoy practicing the sex tip, and let me know what your thoughts are on this. But I just wanted to say a big thank you for keeping me company tonight. Someone is calling, but I can't take that call because we are just ending this program now. Do tune in tomorrow morning. We've got a line of program for you, Gospel Connect and the Hear Me Out show, Weekend City show, and the sports show in the afternoon. We will be right here again on the hot seat, same time next week. And I'm sure we would have another interesting, sizzling topic for you for discussion. Make sure you make a date with me. Also, do me a favor, send me an email if you've got something, a topic that you want us to discuss. But for now, email address will be bedtalk@abnradiouk.com. Have a good evening and have a good weekend. I am out.
From the Sky News Centre at 11, the government has agreed that 2 experts will sit with the judge investigating the Grenfell Tower fire following pressure from campaigners. They had called for a diverse panel to oversee proceedings, saying the inquiry risked being a whitewash. The blaze in West London on the 14th of June last year killed 71 people. Kareem Masili lost his uncle in the fire.
We're pleased. We feel like now our campaigning, all of our hard work has not gone for nothing. We're starting to be listened to. We're starting to have our concerns heard by the relevant people to make the right decisions, to make sure this never happens again. And look, it's a positive step forward.
Theresa May has told Donald Trump the UK and its European allies remain committed to the Iran nuclear deal. The president has withdrawn the United States from the agreement. During a phone call this evening, they also discussed how US sanctions against Iran could affect companies doing business in the country. More from our chief political correspondent, John Craig.
Clearly, the UK government is concerned about possible impact on British commercial interests, it seems, in Iran. They agreed for talks to take place between our teams. So clearly, there's going to be some discussion on those sanctions.
The Foreign Office says 2 British citizens have been kidnapped in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The pair are believed to have been visiting the Virunga National Park when they were abducted. The government says grammar schools are to be handed tens of millions of pounds to allow them to expand. Under controversial new plans, £50 million is to be pumped into creating more places at selected state schools. The members of Frightened Rabbit have paid tribute to their lead singer Scott Hutcherson after police said he'd been found dead. A body found during a search for the missing singer has been confirmed to be that of the 36-year-old. And Kyle Edmund's impressive run at the Madrid Open tennis has come to an end. The British number 1 was beaten in 3 sets by Canada's Denis Shapovalov in the quarterfinals. That's the latest. I'm Daisy Gray.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart of the family ripped apart. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things